Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So let's continue Ella's story. Now that I've decided to unsteal that wedding ring, it's time to check some things, namely gear. Next up, my super secret thievery supply area. Basically that's a fancy name for a lockbox I keep under the sink. I open the thing and unfortunately, I'm all out of keycards and other goodies. That means I must visit my Doc 8. And as a side consequence, I'll see Doc's assistant, Jacoby. Mysterious fact, ever since I've learned that Fred is actually Alec, my stomach has been doing flip-flops, yet visiting Doc 8 means seeing Jacoby. Somehow, that really doesn't make my stomach flip, let alone flop. It could mean something. But I decide it means nothing. With that important revelation behind me, I take off for Doc 8's place. Soon, I stand before a super skinny storefront in the village. Basically, it's nothing but a small building squashed between two tall apartment complexes. The place has a red door with the words Henry's Emporium written above in loopy script. I pull on the handle and step inside. As I march across the threshold, I'm surrounded by red mist. My ears pop from the change of air pressure as magic transports me to somewhere that is most definitely not a closet-shaped space in the village. A second later, I stand inside a large chamber made of charcoal coloured stone. Large wooden chests line the floor. A variety of medieval-style weapons hang on the walls. The scent of cut grass hangs in the air. I'm pretty sure this is somewhere upstate, but Doc is always cagey about his actual location. Speaking of Doc, an enchanted suit of armour stomps towards me. As always, the helm is drawn down. Ella, I wave. Hey, Doc. A poof of air rolls across the room. That's all the warning I get before Jacoby materialises beside me. He's all silver eyes and sneaky intent. Over the years, he's certainly built out into a grown guy. Most elves are more willowy. Jacoby's, well, relatively ripped. Good morning, Ella. Jacoby winks. What can I do for you? At this moment, I realise something important. Jacoby being not, in spite of my stomach, to flip-flop, but he does generate zings of attraction. Dude is dangerous. I turn to Doc. I need supplies for a new gig. As you wish, m'lady. Like always, Doc's voice sounds like he's talking inside a massive tin can, which, let's face it, he totally is. Doc stomps over to one of the wooden chests and rummages around inside. Usual supplies? Yes, please. That means enchanted keycards, lockpicks, and the like. Jacoby folds his arms over his chest. He wears a black t-shirt and jeans today. Why can't he dress like Legolas? It's really hard to ignore him this way. You're purposely not looking at me, says Jacoby. No, I'm just very interested in what Doc is doing. He's bending over a wooden chest. That's interesting to you? I set my fist on my hip. Infinitely. Jacoby moves so quickly, he's a blur. 1 second, the dark elf is beside me. The next moment, we're nose to nose. Infinitely, repeats Jacoby. His voice is low. The zing of attraction moves through me again. This is all very confusing. Taking a pointed step away from Jacoby, I focus on Doc instead. Doc, I started going to these Denari League meetings, and I made a friend. I'm worried about her. Her 18th birthday is coming up, and you know what that means. Doc nods. If anything goes wrong on a fairy tale life template, it takes place at 18. So, do you have any new weapons? You know, just in case. Do I ever? Jacoby gives me a sideways look. I know what you're trying to do, he whispers. Good one of us does. Doc goes through the bunch of new weapons on the wall. There's an enchanted gun that's particularly cool. Eventually we stop talking about the Doc's new stuff and get back to my keycards and stuff. In short order, my purse is crammed with fresh supplies for tonight's visit to Alec Lecharme's office. How much do I owe you? I ask. Nothing. You can't mean that. I was rusting in a basement, left to rot. Your parents found me, cleaned me up, and gave me a purpose. Behind Doc 8, Jacoby mouthed the words to his speech in tandem because Doc says this all the time. And yes, it's a little funny to see Jacoby pantomime it. But you need to let me pay you, I counter. No. And this time the word has an extra long and metallic echo to it. What about the other animates? Maybe I can pay them instead. I haven't kept in touch with them because Marchesa and Despawn still live in the Cinder building. But I could find a way to get them some gold if they needed it. Clang. Doc slams his fist onto his open palm. I won't have this conversation any longer. All the other Cinder animates are fine. Jacoby steps into my line of vision again. Fascinating as this conversation is, you two have it every time. Perhaps a change of subject is in order. He taps his chin. His eyes widen. I have it. You mentioned a group before. The Denari League. Perhaps I could join you at these meetings. I may be able to help protect your friend. I consider that offer for an hot second, then dismiss it. Look, you're way too much of a prankster. You really think I'd try to cause mischief if some battle were at hand? Asked Jacoby. No, you totally fight. Exactly. It's just all the rest of the time that you'd be a pain. I've finally made a friend and, well, you're just not screwing it up for me. Then where are you attending school? Why do you ask? Jacoby shrugs. No reason. You're not trailing me to school. I still take classes online. Then I'll protect you at home. I roll my eyes. Jacoby. He gives me one of these dazzling elfy grins. Can't blame me for trying. Goodbye, Jacoby. I turn to Doc. Thank you, kind doctor. With that, I hightail it out of the door and back to my heist. Mostly because Jacoby's many offers of protection were starting to become tempting. That alone in itself is trouble. And that's the end of that chapter, guys. So, the reason this ring's come up into it, if you're wondering, is it's because the last thing she will ever take is that ring. And we now know the reason that she stopped going to that jeweller's, if you remember. Because Briar Rose asked her to go and she turned it down. Because of Alec. She found out that Alec was the threat in disguise and decided it was best to stay away from him. So the ring is the last sort of high she does from the La Charme building, I suppose. Thank you for listening and many blessings.